Good evening and welcome. I'm trying to air the kinks out of that, but it is starting to look better. Hold on. Let's put the background on here. If you know all about the different shows that I do, then you probably understand that I'm watching, waiting for Dynamite to come on. So, anyway, this kind of eats me. That's why I pulled it off last time and it was shaking like that, like crazy. And we used to work a little stronger. I don't know what's going on with that. Um, Maybe it's because I had it wired through the. Well, we can do that. Well, let me see if I can do that. I'll turn this off. You'll see that I've got Return of the Jedi behind me on mute. And hopefully YouTube won't see too much of that, or else I'll get a copyright violation. So I'm turning the background off and hurry it up because I'm taking too long. All right, so pop this back on. Do it from here. And it is still looking at it. Go split VCam. Skip the login. It is not another process. Oh, I see the problem. I'll fix that real quick. That's right. It is. This is all kinds of complicated. It'll take a minute. But if you're here and you're watching the recording, yeah, that's going to get to be a problem in a minute. So I go to settings and I change my camera to XSplit and I change XSplit to skip the login and I change it to time to be reasonable. Come on. It really does not sound reasonable. Well, that's a problem. I may just have to be with guitar today then. Or it's this one here. Oh, that's right, because I gotta do that. All right. I know exactly the problem. And we will fix it. And hopefully that's a problem. We can't have all right. So anyway, today was LibertyCon Live, and it was interesting. One of the things the first speaker they talked about was, and if anybody wants to chime in, feel free. You can, I think, private chat. Well, that's the private chat. I don't know how I'm not sure how the YouTube works, but if it comes up, we'll definitely respond. If you're on the YouTube channel watching, I have weird little voice here because watching too much Yellowstone. So I'm gonna try and get rid of the drawl because it's kind of weird. Excuse me. But they're talking about how conservatism is affecting the country throughout the whole thing. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about is that the idea of conservatism not And the new conservatism specifically, in other words, the authoritarian conservatism that wants to tell you how to live your life. Because that's what it is. That wants to tell you how, you need to be. And then doesn't think that they need to have like ownership of their actions, which was something that I've always felt was a conservative value, at least, and that ownership was a big thing. And then suddenly I saw people basically saying that, I'm going to take care of myself, you take care of yourself, and anything I do that, affects you, you just need to hide from it because that's conservative values, specifically talking about coronavirus. I saw that a lot. That basically the whole philosophy was, that I'm going to do whatever my freedom gives me, and if it affects you, then that's because you didn't hide far enough in your basement, which is morally bankrupt, by the way. Just thought I'd say that. I may not agree with closing down restaurants, shutting down, everything, but I don't agree with the way that a lot of people were like, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to change my way of doing things. If it affects you, or if you're worried about it, then you can do what you need to do. But if you don't, then it's on you. And I have to say, that's just terrible. But conservative value, I guess. So one thing that was talked about was they even talked about the libertarians, and that there was a large surge of conservative values within the party, so that it kind of changed the whole thing. They also talked about how that same group is all about, shock and awe sometimes. Specifically, well, they didn't talk about the group that took over. They just said that there basically is a group of libertarians that want to operate from the idea of saying things that are, well, basically that they're trying to be edgy to get attention, trying to make statements that will get put on notice. These are the same people that didn't want to elect Vermin Supreme because it'd make them a laughing stock, but it's okay to completely go way right with our values in order to get media attention, apparently. So that was something that I noticed. But anyway, as far as the conference goes, they talked about that. They talked about and at the end of the conference was Justin Amash. And he, as most people know, he's the candidate for, or he is the candidate that, or he's first congressman to declare himself a libertarian. Fortunately, right before resigning, but he's also looking at maybe a possible presidential bid, although that hasn't been confirmed nor denied. With everyone that's running currently. But he basically was talking about how when he was the state senator or state, I don't know if he was assembly or Senate in his state, but there was a lot of working across the aisle to get things done. And when he felt like he was going to be the libertarian representative of that, and there'd be no problem, then he found out in Congress that that wasn't the same thing, because there's a lot of hurdles and a lot of times there's Republicans and Democrats working together to create more authoritarian measures. And also, everybody is working and trying to make their decisions based on the bill, but there's a lot of different line items on the bill, on these bills, and it makes it hard to make a decision, because it's not about whatever the main thing is on the bill, it's how it affects your particular area. So that's the thing. One thing I thought Mr. Amash was very gracious about was, he basically said within the Libertarian Party there's a lot of different people, a lot of different beliefs, and that those beliefs are just, they believe in executing differently, and that we need to come together. But he really didn't talk about like this group is bad or this group is bad. He did admonish everybody that they read Mrs. Again, as well as Hayek's treatise on why he's not his essay on why he's not a conservative. I don't have that in front of me. Let's look at some of those, though. I could go through some pages, especially since nobody's really responding today. And that reminds me, I'm talking to someone in the party that I don't think we exactly perfectly agree, but he's a gamer, and we do agree on some things, and we can definitely get along. And that's Michael Payne. So I'm hoping to have Michael Payne on the show sometime, but preferably next week, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to be a live interview, but it will be an interview that I'll have available. So we'll figure it out. We might do a special airing. I don't know. Let's see here. Why I Am Not a Conservative. Oh, it's a book. It's not an essay, it's a book. It's available through the Cato Institute. It's 13 pages. This may actually be. See if I can get just some of it. Sorry, trying to. trying to find. And then Adam Smith is saying that he is a conservative. Okay. So it doesn't look like this is available. I was going to see if it was, but looks like you have to buy it. And that's perfectly within our thinking. It's not like we think you have a right to the book, but I don't have it in front of me. So I will have to, but I would like to read some excerpts from it, so I'll probably pick it up next week or the week after that. Now, another thing I was going to discuss is candidates. Libertarian candidates are very, large L libertarian candidates are very different. I was trying to help a candidate, I won't say who, and he had decided he wanted to come in support of the police. And I said, oh, well, that's kind of a problem for me. And he's like, well, I'm not going to change what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And a lot of times a candidate of the other two parties will be a little bit better at explaining things. Like, you don't have to change your view, but to message like that, where it's like, if you don't like it, you can pound sand. That's terrible. It's terrible messaging. And if you happen to watch the show, then if the person I'm talking to happens to be watching the show, then yeah, I really do mean that. You really should not have said, if you don't like it, you could pound sand. I was working on your campaign. I was telling you something that really concerned me. I was explaining to you that I feel that cops I was explaining that to you, and then you just basically said you absolutely didn't care. I just started working with you, so not a big deal. But if I had been working with you, or if let's change the subject, or say that, when you have little to no money on your campaign and you have people that are helping you for free, then you have to deal with them in a way in which to let them know that their help is appreciated. That doesn't mean you have to kiss their ass or anything like that, but it does mean that you don't, if they have something that is a concern, you have to kind of waylay it. You can't just say, I do what I want. And a lot of times that's like that. When I first joined the party, or not the party necessarily, but the groups that the party were involved in, and I was looking at, there were two people that were running for vice chair of the Los Angeles, the two people that were running for a position that was in my club. And those two people started dropping F-bombs like there was no tomorrow, and swearing at each other and treating each other with a lot of disrespect. And there are rules to the game. So I think when you run for a position, if you want to be taken seriously, swearing blue streaks at each other isn't going to do it. I mean, I'm just asking for decorum. I mean, sometimes there's messaging too that's crazy pants. Like, I remember the first time that I was watching a libertarian debate, a presidential debate. One of the candidates was like, "I've never paid my taxes, and I've said I never paid my taxes." Well, it's tax evasion, which is a felony. So, how does that work? If you are actually a convicted felon and you can't run for the office, and you're like, "I'm gonna run for president of the United States," even though I'm a convicted felon, that seems like you have some credibility, and maybe to the party you do, but if you don't qualify for the position, it doesn't really work very well. But the one thing that libertarians absolutely have to have in order to win any kind of position is the support of people that are willing to, walk the path, beat the, go to the houses, knock on doors. Contacts, phone bank, all of those things. And so remember, if you're running for a position, there's just a way to be and a way not to be. And you want to put your best foot forward if you're going to do these things. I mean, because being politically sounding reasonable is not a negative thing. Being reasonable is a good thing. Acting reasonable and rational is the best part of the political philosophy that you're representing. Using the F-bomb every 5 minutes and making sure that your freak flag flies when you're running for office is not necessarily the best idea. You can save that for convention. And in convention, there's been a lot of thoughts where people have said that they don't find that it's not appropriate for people to be wearing certain things or look certain ways or whatever. But the reality of that is all conventions are like that. And it's different ways of representing your belief or what you're supporting. And if you're supporting the wrestling caucus and you're dressed like Macho Man Randy Savage down on the convention floor, then that makes sense. Because, oh yeah, snap into a Slim Jim. But if you're running for chair, you probably shouldn't be dressed like Randy Savage. Unless maybe you have a good point that'll get people's attention. I mean, if that's going to get you on the 5 o'clock news, that's not a bad thing. But I definitely think that candidate runs need to be done completely different. And if you want to watch more LibertyCon live, you can, I think it is on Facebook advertised, so you can just click the links. And our man Spike Cohen is going against someone I've never heard of, so I'm voting for, I want to root for Spike there. And that's happening tomorrow. Starting at 9:30 in the morning is when their thing is. They don't really have like different sessions that you can watch in different places. So really, it's all on one thread on LibertyCon Live. But LibertyCon Live isn't exactly libertarian. It's just kind of its own thing. And they're kind of talking about conservatism, and they're talking about the ideas of liberty at the same time. So, and it's more of a symposium, I think, than this is our final conclusion, because there wasn't a lot of final conclusion that I saw. Anyway, I don't really have a lot more to say, so I think I'm going to end the show right here. And thanks for tuning in. It's time to be reasonable.
Surrounds in the calm, well, it stands in earth.